Hello. I just started filming part 2 of a video, and I was going, and then the video just disappeared in mid-filming. If you're new, welcome. My name is Mallory. If you'd like to become one of my pals, it's super simple. Hit the subscribe button down below. If there's only one, find it. It's down below. Hit it. Subscribe, ring the bell. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. If you are a returning pal, welcome back. I don't remember all that I was saying or where I left off in my last video, but trying to keep things as condensed as possible. Diagnosed with vestibular migraines. Neurologist said that, it's something he usually and only normally sees in menopausal women. A couple years later, I started having menopausal symptoms after playing a game of hot potato where I was the hot potato, where the gynecologist said, hey, go to the reproductive specialist. And after some time with her, she's like, hey, go back to the gynecologist. And then the gynecologist didn't have a clue what to do with me, really. And I was given a patch with a whole bunch of weird estrogen stuff, estradiol, a whole bunch of things that I cannot pronounce. And they all just sent me on my merry little way. And that was in 2013. And during that time, I developed melasma. Hyperpigmentation on my face, and I know how to make it less severe, but I didn't have this issue prior to wearing this patch. And when I looked into it at the time, back in the heyday, it said if you have a lot of estrogen in your body, which that's what that patch was giving me right off the bat, that can cause this like melasma stuff. Also, it is more prominent, I think is the word we are looking for in pregnant women, but I've never been pregnant a day in my life. So, it was just like, seriously? I mean, I had concerns. I talked to some people and they said bleach cream. I said, no, thank you. I asked my primary care physician at the time, what was this all about? He didn't have a clue. So I have to give thanks to YouTube for not only helping me get my vestibular migraine diagnosis, but I need to thank a beauty guru. I don't remember her name. She was pregnant at the time when I learned about the melasma. And I think she was from Louisiana. She seemed like a very sweet, nice lady. She was one of the OG beauty gurus way back when the beauty community was just getting started and becoming popular. So I give thanks to her. Unfortunately, her name has escaped me. And I give thanks to YouTube for a lot of things. I give thanks to my grandma because I'm a lot like her. She was a social worker. She's just that type of lady. That's the type of person I am. She writes down everything when it comes to her medical stuff. And I started doing that in 2020 to try to see if I could piece the puzzle together. She's a medical detective. I'm a medical detective because I'm terrified. And I feel like power is knowledge. And when you're afraid of something, if you can learn about it, then it becomes less scary. So no one has given me a formal diagnosis when they should have, in my opinion, back in 2013-14. Let's take me back and just tell me what the heck is wrong with me and get me started on hormone replacement therapy. Or some kind of something else, okay? Because that patch, whew. So my research on this patch, I learned a lot, all right? I learned this why I got the splotchy skin. I learned why I've been gaining weight the way that I have. I think it's twofold. One, I think whatever is in this patch, the more I wear it, which, it's been 13 days since I stopped completely wearing it. But I feel you know, what are we talking, 8 to 10 years with this sucker, that's like accumulated, right? Things are piling on top of one another. That's bound to make problems. And it said a side effect, you know, could be weight gain. These are things no one told me from the get, right? Weight gain, I have that. Don't want it. If I can do something that's going to help stop it, like take a patch off, then that's what I'm doing. But if I do some form of POF, POI, anything related or similar to menopause, that'll also cause weight gain, and that, until I get that under control, there's nothing I can do about it. It's a waiting game. No one ever told me that this patch, long-term or short-term, I don't know, but I feel like it's long-term for me, could make my hair thin, and even worse, fall out. Got 4 strikes against me. The 5th would be anxiety and depression, things I already deal with. One of the like minor, and these are all the minor things, is there a way to show you? If there is, I will show you. It said you could feel like anxious, like anxiety issues, depression issues, which like I already have those, so like why put something in my body that could make it worse? So, give me one moment to figure things out. So there was just, you know, things that were concerning. Yeah, okay, here we go. Okay, part 1. Oh, hello. Oh my goodness, where'd it go? Pardon me, hold on. We're gonna get through this. See, I screenshot and highlighted and took notes. Oh my god, and I keep losing it. This thing is like, has a mind of its own. Seriously, where did it go? Everything is like working against me, and I'm not here for that. Okay. So it changes, alright, no. It says headache, but I didn't, as you can see, things are highlighted. I didn't highlight headache because I deal with tension headaches, with all sorts of different types of headaches in general. So if my head were to be hurting, I don't know that it's necessarily from this patch. But then again, who's not to say that this isn't making anything worse, right? So patch. And then something I had from the very beginning that I was kind of warned about was reaction to the patch application site. So for me, I don't want to say I'm allergic, but like my skin gets extremely irritated to the adhesiveness. And my skin's like that with some Band-Aids. Like my skin's getting sensitive. I don't know what the deal with that is. But that's another problem for another day because it's a new thing with Band-Aids. But the patch, like wherever I would stick it, so you want it in kind of like a fatty area, like your lower abdominal, lower abdominal, like your butt, like on your arm or like somewhere. Like there are certain areas where it's like this is where you want to place the patch, and then when you remove it and you go to put a new one on, like pick a different spot. So if it's on like your left butt cheek, next week it's on your right butt cheek, right? So towards like the end of the 7 days of wearing it, I would get really itchy like on the edges of where the patch, the patch. And it would be like insane. I would remove the patch and you could see like red raised skin, and it would be so itchy. I'd have to put anti-itch cream on it, or I would just scratch until like blood drew to the surface. It was bad, and it's been this way from like day 1. But I did want to make note of it because it's like, do I really want to be using an adhesive going forward? Not really. But if I do, I think it's something to note in case I do have like an allergy to that, then it might, I don't know. So vaginal breakthrough bleeding or spotting. Within the last 3 years, that's been and maybe even more than that, 4 or 5, but definitely 3, that was happening to me so much that it was slightly alarming, and I got concerned, and I went to talk to someone about it, and they said that's totally normal and it's fine. I asked the physician's assistant at the gynecologist's office, is it normal? Well, not normal. I don't think I asked if it was normal, but I said, is it okay? Is it healthy? Is it fine? Is it all the things for me to be on the same birth control for all these years? And they said, it's fine and you're fine. I asked at that time my general practitioner. She was like, you good? Am I though? And then there's another thing I'm not going to discuss because it's even more personal, but I did highlight it just to make note of it because that could mean that I do have an increase in my testosterone, but it's not an area of concern to me. If someone said, oh, you have blah, 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 we can fix that, I would say, no, thank you. I'm trying to get comfortable over here. I would say, no, thank you. I don't mind it. It's not affecting my personal life. If at any point in time, should I change my mind, I will let you know. But for right now, unless I need testosterone for something else, I'm good. I'm good. Blotchy, darkening of the skin, most commonly on face. Weight gain, hella, hair loss, you betcha. So what I've learned over the years, the past 2 years, is if you have too much testosterone, you might thin and your hair might fall out. You might have on your face, you might have male pattern facial hair. But up here, you got that male pattern baldness, thinning, and it's falling out. And listen, I don't want to look anything like my Grandpa Marty. No offense to Grandpa Marty, but that's not the vibe, okay? The Dr. Phil look is not what I'm aiming for. So, all that to say, listen, I kind of accepted that there's a bunch of gray hairs in my head at the age of 30. Do I think that's normal? Not necessarily. But if gray hair is caused by stress, it makes sense. Did my brother start to become a little bit salt and pepper on his head in his 30s, late 20s, 30s? Yes. Again, if stress was a thing that causes that, there was things I could see that would make me say, oh, that makes sense for you, but, it's his business, it's his life, so. But for me, it's wait. I mean, my father didn't start getting some grays till 50s or later. And my mom, I mean, you look to your parents, right? And you're well, what's it going to be like when I'm older? And I'm oh, I'm going to be this big till I'm 40. Then I might be this big. My thumb's a little bit wider than a pinky finger. I figured I had until I was in my mid-40s, so I might start to gain a little weight and my metabolism might start to slow down. I was not expecting my mid-20s, and I was not expecting all the grays. I mean, I just kind of stopped plucking them unless they're right dead front and center, and I feel they can be seen from outer space. I had my hair back the other day, and I was oh my God, I'm seeing more and more scalp. It was just what is going on? So, my testosterone, I don't know where it's at. I feel it is low, but I feel since most progesterone, or some type of a derivative of progesterone in birth control, most of them come from testosterone. And there's some other ingredients and things in there that can cause one to lose their hair. My mom did a bunch of research, and she was concerned about my headaches, my optical migraines, and my vision, because they were saying that this could be causing that, be problematic. And she was wondering why I get some of the issues that I get regarding my eyes and head and stuff. Was the patch making it worse? And if not, it possibly could. I was concerned, as I'm turning 35 in the month of June, that things to just look out for. So, this. I put a question mark. This is under the more major side effects. Next to high cholesterol, because lately, like, my cholesterol has been, like, just elevated by a little bit. And like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I had lab work done, and that was the first time in my life that, like, cholesterol was like a blip on anyone's radar. And my psychiatrist at the time, he's like, I need you exercising more. I need you eating fibrous foods. If you eat an apple a day, like, it's going to help you out to lower your cholesterol, and eat that skin. I'm like, my teeth doesn't let me do that. You want me to chew on the skin of an apple? Good luck, sir, for me. I have, like, you want to talk about teeth, jawline, dental stuff, we can make that a separate video. Anywho, he was kind of like, don't eat so much cheese. That's really hard. Is there a 12-step program for cheese? I don't think so. And he was just basically saying, be active and just make healthier choices. Well, ever since I moved to Florida, I've been the most active I've ever been. I'm working every day to try to make healthy choices. So, I don't know. But when I had my blood work done last year, when I was passed around like a hot potato, again, I hate it. I didn't understand. Like, my primary care physician at that time, like, cause there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. I don't know, it's like LDL and something else. I don't know. If you know, great. But the one that shouldn't be elevated was slightly elevated. But the good one was also, like, in a good spot, that she kind of acted like the good one canceled out the bad one. So, like, don't worry about it. And part of me was like, oh, well, note to self, again, try to eat less cheese and be more mindful of what you're putting in your body. But I also wasn't that concerned because I was still being a very active person. However, what causes high cholesterol? Probably like a conundrum. No, that's not the word, a conundrum. A plethora of things. A cackle of things. But the fact that this freaking patch over here that I'm now pissed at, that I was terrified to remove in the first place in the month of December of 2021. It's funny where I was at then compared to now. That just might be the thing. And if not, it could be contributing to the thing. And so by removing one thing, the patch, I could be lessening those symptoms. Now, depressive symptoms and anxiety disorders, do we need to dive deep into what it is? Probably not, because if you know, you know. And for that, I am sorry, and I feel for you. If you don't know, you're very lucky. So it's like, where was this in 2013 when I was given this patch? That's what I want to know. So in 2021, I said, hey, I'm gaining weight. My hair is falling out. I have funky skin. Like, what is going on? Can anyone tell me? And I talked to a physician's assistant and a gynecologist practice, an OBGYN practice. And she said, you're going to need to talk to like an actual doctor. I appreciate honesty. If you're not the man for the job or the woman for the job or whatever for the job, like, I like when people are upfront about it and say, this person or this field of medicine would better suit you. So I did everything I could with the freaking gynecologist. And because I said my hair was falling out, she decided to check out the ANA panels. I don't know how much of this I've said in my last video, so if I'm a broken record at all, I do apologize, but it's a lot for me to process. And because of that, and it being on the borderline, to someone that is not in rheumatology and has no prior knowledge of anything in the field of rheumatology, it's going to be like ding, 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 there's a red flag. So the gynecologist and my primary care physician at the time both were like, you need to see a rheumatologist. And don't worry, I did. And the rheumatologist said, what are you doing here? You're not the classic typical patient who could have an autoimmune disease, which I do not. Again, thank whomever, praise to whomever. For me, that gotta be Jesus, okay? Because I believe, like, my dad's parents, one or both of them, might have had, like, psoriasis. And I believe that's an autoimmune disease. I'm like, what the hell is in my family history? Like, I hardly know anything about my dad's side of the family, which is a little sad but concerning. Because I'm like, one day I'm going to be by myself. I might have a person with me, or I'm not ready to share what I'm thinking about for my future. But I don't see myself like alone, but like there will come a point where I'll be older, my parents will be older, and we know how the circle of life goes. So, cycle of life. And I don't want to be having a problem and, you know, I have to fill out a bunch of paperwork and I don't know the answers to anything. So something I want to do now is be proactive, sit down with my mom and say, write down everything you know. So I can like keep it like in a binder, in a notebook, on my phone somewhere, just like so I can have it. Like leave me with how to do life 101. So when you're not around to help me in that way, I have everything I need in the palm of my hand. And she knows a lot more about my dad's side of the family than I do. But should I have questions, hopefully he can answer them for me. Because it's important to know things. Because if something is running in your family, like there's family history, it should be addressed. So like while I was a hot mess, my mom thought maybe I was having a funky thyroid. Those are not her words, they're mine. Because her eldest sister, her late baby sister, her mom, her late father, there could be others. Like everyone on the side of the family practically had something going on with the thyroid. So it's like, well, is it my turn? I felt like my brother skipped a lot of the poop and it all fell on me. Because someone's got to take one for the team. So anyways, that's what my mom thought and kept like pushing it on me. And I was like, stop it. You hated it when your mother, aka my grandma, pushed it on you and kept saying, I think there's something wrong with your thyroid. And you would say to her, why do you wish this upon me? I'm like, I don't want to attract something that I don't believe is an issue. But if you're so concerned and if the symptoms do mimic whatever the hell's wrong with me, then fine. When I go to get my lab work done, which was about a week, 2 weeks ago, throw all the thyroid in the mix so they can double, triple check that too. But we're now at a point where I'm off the patch and my mom spoke to one of my pharmacists. Because like I have like your like typical, like, you know, the pharmacies and like your grocery stores. I use one of those, but then I also have a compounding pharmacist. And I feel like pharmacists are very smart. And this one in particular, he's like extremely smart. So my mom was like, What do you know about this? Let me tell you what I've been learning and my concerns from my daughter. You tell me what you know. And so she told him I went off this patch. And he was like, just like, oh, what do you know? So he's like, I'll do some more research. I'll dig into it. I'll let you know. But like, whenever there was a question or a concern, he could answer it. Whenever there was an idea thrown around that I might have to take some type of a medicine, and it only came in a form or formula that I could not do, we'd ask him about it, and he said, I can make you anything you need. I can make it a cream or a liquid, like rub it on, just... This is some Tylenol, adult liquid strength, acetaminophen, Walgreens brand, because CVS is clear. There's no, and it freaks me out, and it's a little more like, ugh. Anyways, so I do need to watch this, but a liquid that you just, like a shot, you know? So he's trying to help me out, but he did say, listen, I'm not a doctor. I can't just go prescribing medicine. And my mom said, no, I get it. I understand. I know how it all works. But just a little heads up, we've had many conversations with my current, PCP, with Mallory's primary care physician, and she doesn't seem that knowledgeable in the whole compound business. So he was very polite, and said to my mom, should I need, because first of all, he said, based on what you're telling me, your kid is definitely unbalanced with regards to hormones. And if one hormone is just slightly off, if something is slightly out of whack, it throws everything off. So he's like, we definitely need to get that balanced, but it's just a matter of what needs to be what, right? Does that make any sense? I really don't know. I don't know. But he's like, well, talk to the doctor, give her all my information, like, have her call me, and I'll be more than happy to talk to her and explain how I can compound things for Mallory. So I feel like I will not need to see an endocrinologist again, because I tried to see one once and he was pervert. And really, like, the endocrinologists around here, they're really good at like helping you if you have diabetes. Anything else, forget about it. You're screwed. We looked at the reviews. Well, my mom mostly looked at the reviews for local endocrinologists, and it was run, don't walk. Like, this person ruined my life. Like, the reviews were horrible. And based off of my bad experience, I'm like, no, if I can avoid one of these, I would gladly not have to ever see an endocrinologist again. So, where does that leave us? Well, I will let you know in the next video. So until then, definitely, if you want to find out where it's going, definitely subscribe, ring the bell, like this video, leave all your comments, questions, suggestions down below. And until next time, keep it quirky.